I just want to talk a little bit about the interesting path of today's journey for myself. I don't know why, but this morning I wanted to discuss politics with my dad. I brought up different things that I was complaining about, and he got upset with me and he said he didn't want to hear it. And I didn't realize it at the time, but I guess I had brought it up because it was hurting my soul. And it wasn't about the politics, it was about the fact that, like, it seems as though humanity is just not learning, not growing, not moving forward. It seems like we're regressing, and that is really painful for me. And so I kind of I texted him a couple Bible verses because his solution to me was pray, and I didn't like that. And so I sent him some Bible verses about how prayer without action is useless, basically. And so it kind of left me in a funk. I mean, I still had to do the virtual day of school with my son and everything like that, but go grocery shopping and stuff. But it's been on my mind all day, and I kind of had tried to think a bit about, because he texted me, and I understand his point of view if he just wants to focus on himself. He's getting to be elderly, and he just he understands the worries that I brought up, I guess. The finances of the country, the blatant bigotry that's being condoned and encouraged in this country, and he didn't want to talk about it with me, though, and it frustrated me. And I ended up trying to distract myself when my son was doing some school stuff on his own. That I went and watched this little, like, 20-30 minute not Netflix, YouTube little, I guess, dive into this, like, female mass shooter, which is seemingly rare because I don't hear about them. But she was like, I don't remember her name, but it was like something recent, and I ended up, like, hearing about God, what was it, like 764 or something, which is like this, like, weird internet Discord Telegram, like, cult that, like, grooms children online and gets them to, like, record CP and other disgusting things, and then they, like, blackmail them with it and stuff, and, like, kind of, like, alluding in the video to that, like, perhaps she was, like, manipulated by these people, right? Because they prey on, like, the mentally ill, like, vulnerable children that don't come from good homes and stuff like that, to get them into these disgusting, precarious situations. And then they distribute it amongst their network of gross pedos. And so I was going through all that and reading about how it was kind of like a far right, like, extremist group, which was like, oh, no surprise. Um, but then I got to it's linked to something like the Order of Nine Angels or something like that, which was like the satanic cult led by this person by this name of Anton LaVey or something like that. But they thought that it might be this guy, David Myatt, I think that was his name, who he denied being the leader of this, like, alt-right witch cult or whatever. It started off as, like, a hermetic cult, and then, like, slowly morphed into, like, neo-Nazi stuff, or there was, like, rumors of it being neo-Nazi. I don't know. It seemed kind of unclear, but so I looked into this David Myatt guy, and he, like, had a hand in, like, Aryan Nazi stuff, and then he, like, became a Muslim, and part of, like, Islam, and he was always a radical, violent radical. And I I ended up finding something on his Wikipedia page about the numinous way, and for some reason it stuck out to me, and so I just looked it up, and I ended up on his WordPress page reading about it, and it was crazy because despite his involvement in racist terrorist organizations, over time, and even in Islam as well, like he left these faiths which he had felt so much loyalty to, and he has even inspired some terrible, terrible humans to do terrible things. And I was reading his WordPress from like around like 2012 or 14, and he was talking about his numinous way, and it's this new philosophy that he had pieced together from not only his times full of hatred and violence and fighting for what he thought was right, but then also studying Eastern religions. And he said that the whole time throughout his like Nazi reign, his socialist, he calls it the National Socialist, right? But it's Nazis. Communism studies and stuff like that. And like he talks about how what was really propelling him into this journey and this loyalty and this dedication was a concept, the abstract, the idea that he needed to make humanity better so that they could go into outer space and more thoroughly explore and have the technology and to do that, the knowledge to do so, to explore the true cosmos and the universe and all that. And his guiding force wasn't evil, it was the expansion of humanity, but it was at all costs. And he's in his writings, through his discovery of what he calls the numinous way, he's discovered basically that he was so wrong, and that like empathy is really the guiding force of what we call like divinity and all that. Empathy is what creates compassion in us for others, and like what makes us want to have honor and loyalty, this ability to empathize with others. And he kind of goes on, and so it sounds a bit like a mashup of like the Tao, and as well as like personal understandings I'd come to on my own spiritual journey. And so it resonated very deeply with me, and so that gave me a lot of mixed feelings, because I'm like, why am I spiritually relating to this guy who used to be a violent terrorist, and there was a part in his writings that hit me so hard. I was reading it in the tub, and I just had to stop reading, and I had to like cry for a bit. And it was that basically, like, in the numinous way of understanding life that he has come to in his crazy journey, is that it's not about the politics, it's not about any of that, really. That passion, we're all feeling on either side of the spectrum, really, to fight others for what we think is right. It's because we think it's what's right for humanity, right? It's because we want what we think will be a better humanity. But he said that's the illusion or delusion of it all, is that being willing to fight for what you think is better for everyone else is what makes it worse for everyone else, basically. And it's kind of made me think with my own feelings towards the current political climate, and feelings of righteous anger, and questioning if violence is ever justified, I guess. Because I don't really feel like it is in my soul. But then there's the logical part of my head that says, look at what happened in other countries where violent, aggressive dictators took over. Without violent rebellion, these regimes don't really end, right? But on the other hand, I don't want to be living in fear and anger or violence. I don't want to be a violent person. That's not who I am deep down, I want to avoid violence, at all costs, really, against not just people, but animals and nature, the oceans, fucking, and all of these political dribble drabble, orange idiot, blah blah blahs, whatevers. The more I marinate in those, the angrier I become, and the more acceptable violence seems to become, because look how bad they are. And it's this fighting amongst ourselves that doesn't do anyone good. And I know this whole video may come across as really hypocritical. And no, I still don't want to be friends with MAGA people right now, but I'm trying to comprehend this new understanding of life and humanity that I am coming to terms with. And okay, I don't know if I even said the one thing, but it's. I wish I could find the quote. Hold on. I wonder if I can pause this.